Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Harmony and I'm so happy to be here. If you don't know me, you can check out my intro on how to empower yourself. But briefly, my channel is about empowering people, and how I do this is by posting a question at a time and give you 3 simple guidelines on how to answer them, so you can get the best out of it and get to know yourself better, your strengths, your weaknesses, and what you need to work on. And I also post some topics on some some videos on some spiritual topics and terms and what they mean to me. So if they help you along your journey, then that's brilliant. So let's start with today's topic. Today's topic is about duality and Earth's ascension. So basically what's going on with the planet Earth where we are living. So I was going to do just a video to talk about this and what's happening on the planet at the moment. But in order for me to explain that, I need to talk about duality. So let's start with that first. Okay, so if you have watched my video on Source, the monad, the oversoul, and etc., and how we come from Source, then you'll have an idea what I'm talking about. But briefly, I'll just explain. So Source is the energy of creation. So it's the whole energy that, whether you call it, that created everything. So whether you call it God, Source, or Creator, whatever you call it. So basically, so that energy created everything, or different universes. And I talked about how the universe, when there's creation, there is spirit and matter. So matter is what we can see, and spirit is like our soul, what animates us. So then I talked about one universe, the universe that we live in. So, and how that is broken down until we come to the point where we incarnate in a planet, on a planet certain place. So it depends where we want. Well, you can check it out. See if you want any further information. But one thing that I didn't mention on that video, that I'm going to talk about today, is duality. Well, I don't know if this is how you say it how this is how you pronounce it, but I'm not a native English speaker, so I do my best. So if that's not the way, then please correct me. But okay, so when Source created the universes, so I'll talk about our universe. It manifested, so the energy of Source was manifesting, and when that manifested, it created matter and spirit, and it has also created duality. That is day and night, light and dark, or good and evil, yin and yang. So they both coexist. Okay, so you can't have light without dark. Obviously, if there's any light, you'll never know that, this is called light. So in the same way, it's vice versa. You can't have darkness without light. And the same thing for good and evil. So it works the same way. So that's the concept of duality. So this is like if you draw a straight line, then you can say one side is light and the other side is dark. So it's up to us when we are a soul, which side, where we want to be, what we want to experience. So to me, I've been looking into this for a very long time. I had this question, I have been questioning for years and years and years. What am I doing here? What am I doing on Earth? And from whatever I've read, I've listened to, I've meditated, I was like, okay, we are a soul and we are here on the planet and we are told to be good so we can go back to where we belong. So my point was, if we come from there, if we were created there, why did we come all the way down here and then try to work through all of this, go through all of this karma, life and birth and death cycle? So what's the point? I couldn't understand the point. What was the point of doing all of this? And at the end of the day, we all go back up. So these are like years and years and years. Like I've been getting answers here and there, like all the puzzle pieces. And I've come to the point where I've got the puzzle is nearly finished, but there's still one big piece missing. And that is still a question mark. But yesterday I was chatting to my sisters. We're on a group chat. We don't live in the same country, so this is how we keep in touch. And one of them asked, what's our role here at this point in time? And I was trying to explain my view on what's happening. So that was a sign for me that, yeah, I need to do this video today. So thank you to you all. Okay, so now I talked about duality. Okay, so now what I came to understand is like we are divine beings, and because we come from source, we are divine. The source, the soul within us is divine, is pure, is that at that energy level. So at that level, at the divine level, there is a divine will. So the divine will is, okay, you can have both the duality and exist each wherever you want, but there is still harmony. So there is no mix and match and all of that. It's like it's divided, it's there. You want to stay there, you stay there. You want to stay here, this side, you stay this side. So that's the divine will. And what happened coming to Earth now, I'll talk about Earth's story now, not her story, but you know what's going on, what's the situation. So coming to Earth's ascension, what does that mean? I've been like, when I was looking for these answers, I was getting like all sorts of answers, like, yeah, we are going to it's the soul evolution, we are moving into a higher dimension, and we are moving into 5D, and life in 5D, everything is so pretty, so beautiful, so perfection, so much love, so much light and everything. But I couldn't understand, what is the 5D? Although this is the case, but it needs to fit somewhere. Where does that fit in? So then came all the concepts of dimensions. So we've got, some people say there are about 12 dimensions, but I don't know that. The number 12 keeps coming on and on and on in all these spiritual terms, like the 144. That's 12 times 12. And if you've watched the video on my source, explanation of the source and creation and all of that, that's that again, some people say there are 12 oversouls, and each oversoul has got another, it's divided into 12 again, so that's why you get the 144. But again, I don't know that, but that number keeps coming up. So okay, so moving on, I wanted to understand, like, where is the 3D? What the world we live in is a 3D, and we are moving into 5D. Okay, so let's just take the example of the 12 dimensions. Let's say the 12th one is just the one below source, and then the one below source, that is the 10th, and keep going down. Okay, so if we are living in the 3D world, everything looks dense, everything is strong, like very dense, like solid. Okay, so what happens when we move to the 4D? The 4D is where, when a soul dies, that's where they go in the 4D, because it's like many people say they've seen ghosts and all this stuff. So how they can see it, because they're in the 5D, it's not, it's lighter, they don't have the physical body. There is physicality, but not in the way as dense as this, as it is on this planet, in this 3D. Then there is the 5D. So 5D is another dimension where there is still life, everything is there, but it's at the level of the heart people, the living beings. They are more like heart based. They live in the heart space, and they're still they are still evolving. But if they want to stay there, they can stay there, or if they want to go further up, they go further up. So I'm not going to talk about the ones further up, but I did mention those in the other video, well, about the sun, central sun, greater central sun, and grand central sun, all of that. But because I'm talking about this Earth's ascension, I'll stick to the 5D. So when you look at the 5D, these different dimensions, what are they? It is difficult for me. It's like over the years, like I've now put everything together, and this is why I'm doing this video, so I can explain to you what everything means, what it is. And of course, if it resonates with you, that's brilliant. Have an understanding. And it's not only the understanding, but it's only how you feel, you know. It's like having the inner knowing. That's what I would call it. It's like inner knowing, and it resonates with the heart, and the heart says, yeah, this is what it is. So, right. So every dimension has got a certain frequency. It's like the radio stations. You tune into a radio station, a certain frequency. So this is how the dimensions work. So on Earth, it's a 3D dimension. We operate at a certain frequency, and the Earth's frequency is called the Schumann resonance. You can go and check it out. It's got like some scientific explanation of it as well. So I'm not going to talk about this on this video, but you can go and check it out there for yourselves. So that's the frequency Earth is vibrating at. So we all vibrate at a certain frequency. Now, when you go to the 5th dimension, it's a higher frequency. So the higher you go, the higher the frequency. It's like, let me give you an example of the emotions. Okay, so it's like if you're in a fear state, then you're in a very low vibration energy. And if you're vibrating at that low energy, but if you're like happy and harmonious and peaceful, it's a very high energy. So this is what the 3D is, the 5D is about. It's attaining that level of energy where you're happy, harmonious, and peaceful, and it's beautiful. And this is the level where Earth wants to go to. Okay, so now you've understood the dimensions, what it is, so what 5D is. Now my question was, how did we get to the 3D in the first place? So, okay, so what's happening here? Like, these are the planes of existence, the dimensions. So every dimension has got existence. There are living beings there, and like I said in the other video, every star, every planet, every single creation has got life. So what happened then? There was an experiment. Okay, Earth was here in the 3D. There is an aspect of us in all the other dimensions, but it is where we want to exist. I hope this is making sense. We can tap into whatever frequency we want, but it's like what frequency we want to live in. Okay, so there was an experiment going on, and this experiment, I've got it from all different stories that I've heard about. People give different versions of the stories, but at the end of the bigger picture is like an experiment is going on that was happening in the 3D world, and there were some planets that volunteered for this experiment to take place. So Earth was one of them. So what this experiment was about, it was about bringing, getting souls to incarnate, but give them the free will. Okay, so what was the free will? Like I spoke earlier about the divine will, and now when it came, the souls were coming here, it was they were given the free will. Free will is like a free pass. So at a higher level, you have the light and the dark. So they stay where they are. But here, the free will, they could mix and match and do whatever they want. So in order to do that, they would have to forget what is the divine will. Because if they know the divine will, what is the divine will, then how would they use free will? So that's a disconnection. So a lot of souls signed up to come to the planet. So now I'll just talk about Earth, okay? But there are other planets in the 3D realm that are that volunteered for this. So those souls that came incarnated on the planet, they are the souls that, using the free will, they started falling into this because they are mix and match whatever they want. They are so free to do whatever they want. They started themselves experimenting a lot of things. And when they started experimenting a lot of things, this is what created karma. Because karma doesn't exist at the higher levels. It is when they are given the free will to do this. I don't know for sure at what level this came into existence. This is a missing piece of the puzzle. I'll come back to this at the end of the story. But yeah, so this is what created karma. So because one is soul was, they came into on the planet, they did whatever they liked, and that created karma. So then when they died, they had to go back again, and they had to go up again, and they had to come back to clear the karma. So this is the cycle of birth and death. So this is what's going on this cycle until people come to realize that they are not part of this anymore. They want to come out of it. So what's happened since then? All these different star systems, they came, the souls that resided in all these different star systems, they came and started living here and started creating karma. Now this is why you see different races, because they are not from the same. There are some who are already inhabiting the planet, so they are the real inhabitants of this planet, and they are the ones who really care about the planet and the nature and everything else. They really love it. You can see them like the tribes, like the Aborigines, or I mean, the people who live in nature, and you can see how they are connected to the planet. So what happened next? Yes, all these star systems came in. That's why you see all the different races. It's not only to do with the geographic where they're living, but it's so different. You can see like how people from Africa are different, so different from Chinese. It's not only to do with the weather. It's a different race. They come from a different, not them, but I mean all the races. They come from different star systems. Okay, so now what happened then? This is the thing of karma started going on, and Earth wasn't happy about it because they started abusing her and using her resources, and there was too much negativity going on. So again, because there is the concept of good and evil, light and dark, in creation, and this is getting mixed up, so it's not working, it's creating chaos. So what happened then? That's like all civilizations that have at some point, like the Lemuria, Atlantis, they were all the flood came and destroyed them all. So you had the Lemuria, Atlantis, and the Egyptian civilization that was in flood, but I don't know what happened to them. But this is how everything started getting destroyed. So Earth was saying like, okay, this is what happened, this is what's going on, and I want to start new again. Let's get everything gone and start new. So when the souls come in again, but because they've created karma, they have to come back to balance out their karma. But what they were doing is like every time they would come, they would forget about what they've come here for and start creating more. So what happened then, with all these civilizations being destroyed and starting again, they were getting the chance to do this all over again, but this same thing kept happening on and on and on. So now we come to the point where we are now. Earth has had enough of humans doing all this nonsense and all this chaos, and now she wants to ascend, and she wants to vibrate at a different level, at a different frequency. So she made a call, and she asked for help. And when she asked for help, there's a lot of souls from other star systems who can see whatever is going on the planet. They signed up to come on the planet and help her. But for them to come on the planet, they have to take birth. Like they have to come in a human body. But they know that, but they still accepted it and took the task and said, okay, we want to help Earth and help her go through this transition. So the reason why Earth asked for help this time is because she can ascend whenever she wants to. She's a big planet, she's a big being, she can do it. But because there are so many souls that are trapped in this cycle of birth and death and are creating all this karma, and a lot of them are really loving and beautiful souls, so she doesn't want to leave them behind, because she knows if she leaves them behind, when she ascends, they will, when they die, those souls die, they will have to take birth in a different free a planet, different 3D planet, and go through the, you know, um, all of that again, but they'll still be stuck into that karma. So Earth is being so loving and giving the opportunity to all these souls to wake up and with her ascension. So that's why you have all these light workers and all these people coming in, and some of the souls who existed at the time of Atlantis, they were like quite advanced in those days, but they still used, you know, they were still doing all these nonsense, that hence the destruction. But some of them are from those times, some of the souls that got stuck in this cycle of birth and death and karma. So they are like they've come back. So what's going on now? It's like the wake-up call. What is awakening? Awakening is like all these souls that were lost. They are getting this wake-up call. That's why people keep saying the numbers and signs, get signs and everything. So that's why these wake-up calls are happening, for them to wake up and see who they really are. Because the only way for those souls to come out of this and ascend with the planet is by matching her vibration. So what do I mean by vibration? Like I did explain earlier, but I'll just give you a simple example of that I should have given earlier, but I'm sorry, I don't do, you know, write anything. I just talk when I come on the screen. So if the information is scattered, I'm sorry, but I just want to put it out there. It's like if you're looking at a windmill, okay, you see the blades or whatever you call it, it's going on. When the wind blows quickly, they go really fast and you can hardly see them. So it's the same thing with the dimension. It's like the 5D, it's like it exists, but we can't see it because it's going up that fast, so fast we can't see it. It's a different vibration. So yeah, I'm sorry I had to put it out there at that point when I talked about it. But yeah, so moving on. So this is what awakening is. It's like people remembering who they are and what they are here for. And this is what is about knowing yourself. And the way to ascend with the planet is to know who you are and what's your origin. I mean, the origin, everybody's origin is from source, but it depends what star system we come from, what planets. I'll be doing another video about this, about the star seeds and the indigos and etc. I'll do another one. This one is quite long. So those are the people, the light workers, the people who are waking up and understanding and what is going on. So the thing about if you want to ascend with Earth, then we have to know what karma we've got outstanding, and we clear those karma. So once we clear the karma, we are a clean slate again. So this is like going back to understanding our origin, who we are, why we came here for. We were part of an experiment, or we were not. Some of us are from, we only came recently to help when we heard the call. So this is what awakening is, and this is why Earth wants to transcend. She wants to move to another dimension, a higher dimension where everything is beautiful. There's so much to talk about. I could keep talking about it for hours and hours about the 5D and all this stuff, but I think for this video, this is what has been happening, and there is this this war going on between good and evil and light and dark, and all this is happening, but because we are living here on the planet Earth and everything is connected, all the dimensions are connected across the fabric. There's a fabric of the universe, everything is connected. So if something goes wrong here, it affects all the other dimensions as well. So that's why it's a time that's very critical, and Earth wants to ascend, and she's giving everybody the opportunity to ascend with her. And what, as a human, our role is, or if we come from another star system, we've just come to help, it's to help ourselves first. So we have to help ourselves first, know who we are, what we are doing here, and clear all our karma, so we are all clearly a clean slate. And from then on, we can help her to move to the higher plane. So she is basically giving time for people to realize that. But there is a lot of people who don't understand that, who don't know this is going on, and they carry on with their dark agendas and whatever feels right to them. But at the end of the day, we are all beyond the good and evil. Okay, we are beyond that. But for now, because of creation, because everything is existing now on this plane, this is why we are existing here, and there is this war going between light and dark. But at the end of the day, it's up to us to decide where we want to be, and if we want to help the planet to her ascension and what she desires. So I'll leave this up to you, and I'll be doing another video on what are all the other light workers, way showers, and all that, what the star seeds, what they mean. And I'll see you in the next video. I hope this helped you to a certain extent. I know it's been a long video, it's already 30 minutes, but I didn't want to talk that long, so I stopped talking. So have a good day, and thank you for listening. And if that resonated, that's going to help you. Thank you. So take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.